Street lights on, poet. Going, poet.
Got this.
Tell it.
When I first called her, she told me that her life was like dried up contact lenses and need a solution. She had a hole in her heart because she never knew what love from the XY chromosome felt like. The absence of her father's presence was painted over with fake smiles and an obsession of turning new clothes into doormats. She was a chemist, converting pain into beauty. One smile from her opened wallets and bought movie tickets. She was a puppet master, making every puppet bow at her presence. Lined up like dominoes, she had them falling one by one till the force finally reached me. I stood my ground. I knew if I had fallen like the rest, she would have just moved on to the next. So I played my bluff as if I were playing poker in the Las Vegas casino, and she fell for it. Communication was expressed by seconds. Seconds turned to minutes, minutes turned to hours, hours turned to days, and days led up to our first date. Our first date was at the mall. As she walked towards me, I was entranced by her long black hair, tight white shorts, and overwhelmingly big, light brown eyes. She smiled at me, her smile white like the overlights at a football game, and I smiled back. The girl I've longed to see after restless nights of conversing over the phone, talking about our favorite colors and asking questions like, "You think we'll be together in 3 years?" And I told her, "I don't know, maybe. What do you think?" Now, when I said those words, she did not need to know that my mom was consumed by hormones, so my real answer was yes. I would date you as long as I need to satisfy my condom. And as I was contemplating how selfish my thoughts had been, she turned out to be worse than me. She said, "Not very long unless I get that diamond necklace from Kay's." And I told her, "No problem, baby. Just wait till we go to mall." So as we walked through this person-infested mall, her eyes scoping the styles of different men as they passed, and mine were glued to the presence of attractive women. We were not bothered by our actions, for we were equally ugly on the inside with no real feelings to share. Our hearts were surrounded by walls of snow. As the months ventured, so did the seasons of winter. The snow around my heart melted, but hers did not. She cheated, I left, she cried, I returned. She cheated, I left, she cried, I returned. She cheated, I left, she cried, and I returned, because while she was cheating on me, I was cheating on her. We were one and the same, and if I could not take her back, that would have meant I did not accept myself. I was too young to understand change. I stayed with this cheater of a girl for 3 years because I took too much pride in the ability of being able to violate the innocence of multiple females at once. In reality, I was ashamed, but by being with her, the shame became bearable, for she was doing the same as I. I was no longer alone, and I finally found my other half, but as two in the same flesh, we were discussing like a green loogie on the sidewalk when you walk down the street. When I turned 16, our relationship had flourished. The cheating had ended, her mother loved me. It was a perfect relationship for the perfect couple. I began to wonder, how long would this perfect relationship last? How long till we returned to her 3 a.m. phone calls talking about, "Baby, I love you," talking about, "Baby, don't ever leave me," talking about, "Amor, eres mío, nadie más. Baby, you're mine and nobody else's." You see, I realized that this was never about what love did to me. It was about what I had to do to become a man. It was about what I had to do in order for us to get an opportunity to experience what true love really is. I let her go. Te deseo lo mejor. Gracias por salvarme. Take care.